Hello, students. We have done it. You have done it. We're at the end of the semester, except for just a little bit more to go. But this is probably going to be our last video message together for this semester, and so I wanted to touch base with you, make sure we're on the right track and that you have all the information that you need. But I also wanted to take this moment really to congratulate you for everything that you've done, and to remind you of all this hard work and energy that you put in, and that it paid off. And I hope that you're able to see that, right? I mean, you started in the beginning of the semester and you said, everything is so unclear, I don't understand, what am I supposed to be doing? And then you kind of got the hang of it with the first assignments, and you went through the first test, and then, I don't know, some of you kind of faded into the background, but then some of you stayed in there. You survived, you persevered, right? And so now you're here at the payoff. And I hope that you do see that that investment of time in your homework and in your studies does lead to a payoff, in the sense that a grade earned in our business statistics class, okay? So what I want to do now is switch around to the screen, and let's talk about where we are, okay? So here we are in pause, and perhaps the important messages here are that the homework for Chapter 11 is due. Matter of fact, it is due tonight, Thursday, August the 2nd. Your extra credit evaluation, if you've not already done that, or if you did not submit the required document, you may want to look at that. And then, of course, we'll talk about Exam 5. So a couple things on Exam 5, some very important things that we want to talk about, which is that it opens tomorrow, the window of availability for the comprehensive final. Starts tomorrow, which will be August the 3rd, and it starts at 5 a.m. in the morning as usual, and it closes Sunday night at 11:55, and that would be August the 5th. Now, the final exam is comprehensive. Oops. It's 10 questions. I'm going to allow you 200 minutes. I tell you that later, but just so you know, 6 of those questions do come from Chapter 11. The remaining 4 questions, because it is comprehensive, come from the earlier chapters. How do you know what to study? Well, go through the homework. Remember that the exams are based on the homework, so the homework helps you prepare. As usual, you have one attempt, right? The check my work button will be disabled. And where do you find the password information and more details about the exam? Well, of course, you're going to go under content. Look at all this work that you have completed. I'm just going to scroll down quickly here, but all this represents a lot of hard work completed. I've given you the file in both Word as well as PDF format. I'm going to use PDF just because it's a little easier. Once it opens, remember that my trick is to use this save button to save it to the desktop, and that way I just have really fast access to it. Also, you can make it slightly larger. I'm going to save it to the desktop and then open it in a larger manner so we can look at it. So here it is, and this, first of all, just recaps what I've told you about the 10 questions. The window of availability, again, let me just remind you, don't cut it too close as you do this. You do have one attempt. Some of this is familiar, but I want to get down here to part that's not familiar. Of course, you do have 200 minutes. That's more time. It may not take you that full time. It just depends on how fast and how practiced you are at the material. Here's the password that will open the exam. Of course, once you put that in and hit enter, the clock will start, right? This is the part that I want to talk about, because this is the common question at this particular time in any semester. One of the first questions is, do I need to take the final exam? Because remember, you do have one drop grade. Some people missed a test earlier in the semester, and for a variety of reasons, very legitimate, and that was the drop grade, right? So that's okay. Now, but let's say, you know, you've made, I don't know, C's, maybe you made a D, maybe you made a B. You have the ability to go and look at what your grades are. You have all your grades available to you in the pause system. So you're saying, do I need to take it? Will it make a difference? Okay, if you ask me as your instructor, I have one answer, and that is yes. Because if there is any doubt in your mind, any doubt that it's going to make a difference, if you do not know whether or not it's going to impact your grade, then you need to take it. It's as simple as that. Because at this particular point in the semester, to calculate your grade, all you're calculating really is just you're summing and you're dividing. You know, this is an average, this is a percentage, and especially in a statistics course, I know that you're capable of doing that. And so oftentimes when you're asking me, you're really just trying to kind of get a commitment and I understand that, but there's, without going into too much detail, there's a lot of reasons that it's just really not, in my opinion, not the right way to proceed. So what I want you to do is to look at your grades and to make that decision. If there's any doubt in your mind, you can take it. Let me, kind of posit a theory for you, if I may. What's it going to hurt you? So it's going to take you a little bit of time. If you're planning for it to be your drop grade anyway, then if you do poorly on it, it doesn't matter. If you do well on it, maybe it will improve your grade. So I would encourage you to make that investment in yourself. Remember, you've done all the work. Why not go, in this last part, give it all you got so that you leave it all out there on the court, right? You leave it all in the class. So I encourage you to go ahead and do that. Now, here's the other very, very common question in this course. You say, well, I'm going to take the final. It's not that. What is my grade? What will my grade be in this class? That's what I want to know. Okay, first of all, let me jump down here to the bottom. Even though I'm saying this, some of you are going to do it anyway, and because I'm explaining this to you, it really is rude when you do that, because let me assure you that I will not email you your grade. Once again, there are many reasons that I don't do that. I know that some other teachers do, and that's okay. I think everybody has kind of their way of doing this, but I've had situations where people are using my emails to carry them basically in lieu of transcripts, and I think that's not fair to do that. Also, once again, I am very transparent in the operation of this class. I post your grades into PAWS. The syllabus is very clear-cut on the way that you calculate your grade, and I'm going to, even though I've already explained that in a previous video, I'm going to go through that again very quickly. And so what you need to do is to calculate your grade, and you can do that. You don't need anybody to do that. When you're a college student, you would never think about walking up to a cash register and saying, okay, the cashier says, you owe me this much. And you say, well, here's all the money that I have in my wallet, here's all the money I have in my pockets, here's everything I own. Take what you are supposed to take and just give me back whatever. I trust you. Right? You wouldn't do that. You're a college student. You would walk up and you would say, I know approximately what this should come up to. You can calculate it out to the penny if you wanted to, right? And if the cashier says, oh, you owe me $1,000,000, you would say, what? You are crazy. That's not at all. Right? In fact, if you thought your bill should be $10 and the person said it's $20, you would say, I think something, rang up wrong. In other words, you already kind of know, don't you? Because you've looked at the prices. In this case, you've looked at your grades. Your grades have been very visible to you throughout the semester. You have the syllabus, and that explains everything, so you know what your grade is going to be. There's not going to be any surprises. Just like on your exams, I tell you that the exam problems come from the homework, and so it is very, very transparent. I mean, this is no tricks. I'm not trying to fool you into a bad grade, okay? This is, you kind of know what it is, and so it's just a matter of taking the time to go out there. You should not be shocked when you see your grade in that box if you're reading the syllabus and if you're reviewing your grades. Now, if you don't care and kind of whatever, then maybe you will be shocked. I don't know. Okay, so let's go forward. Now, also remember, I do delay your grade a little bit, and we are at the end of the semester, so I know that some of you will kind of be tuning out. But again, your grade will be provided to you from the college. I do have all your assignments to date, with the exception of the grades for Chapter 11 and this final comprehensive exam posted. Okay, so with that being said, we've got that done. Let's go back over here up to pause and let me talk about the grades. And I might have to go just a little long here if you'll bear with me. As you go through the grades, notice that everything is posted as a fraction. What I want to stress once again is that you do not look at these categories which are subtotals. In other words, when it says learning projects and then here I have all the individual learning projects listed, you do not need to look at this subtotal of all the learning projects because in most cases these subtotals have to be wrong because they cannot take into account information like drop grades and minimum score requirements. Okay, so why does this say 2 divided by 0? Well, I wouldn't look at the subtotals. I'm not worried about that. I'm looking down here because 0 points were required, but you earned 2 bonus points if you posted that introduction. So as I look at that and I continue down this, I'm going to add up all the points that I earned, all the points that I earned. And once I do that, and I'm going to do that all the way down the page, I'm going to do that for my extra credit. You know, here I earned maybe 2 points and 3 points, right? I'm going to just keep on adding those up. Now, I do need to be careful when I get down here into the connect assignments. Here's the subtotal, so we need to ignore the subtotal. And I have to make sure that I met the minimum score. So here I can add the 10 points. I can add the 9 points, even maybe my 2 bonus points here. What about this 7? Should I add up the 7? Absolutely not, because it is below 85%. It does not meet the minimum score requirement. Throw that 7 away. Not the 10, but the 7. Okay? Throw the 6 away. That's a 0. In other words, as you're adding 0 when I say throw it away. 8. Oh, such a shame. Should have tried a little bit harder. That counts as a 0. 8.5. Boy, I'm right on the line. It counts. Yay, I get to add that 8.5. I get to add the 9. So I'm going to keep on adding up all these points that I have earned. Now, I have not earned it if it falls below the minimum grade requirement. Okay, I need to post that reminder here for chapters 9 and 10. But I would do that throughout. Okay, that is one number, that's points earned, and I want you to set that number aside. Then I want you to go back and I want you to add up the points that were required. Well, how many points are required of you on a bonus assignment like this discussion board? Well, none. So you say 0. What do I do with the subtotal? I skip it. But there were 20 points required for Learning Project 1. I'm going to add that. 20 points for Learning Project 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going, adding these points up. What about the extra credit? Well, anything that's extra credit, there are 0 required points. Now I'm going to come down here to the exams. Let me remind you, you need to skip these subtotals because what's the really cool thing about exams? Should have said this when I was talking about points possible. You have one drop grade, okay? Here's how you use a drop grade. Let's say that I've completed all my exams. We only have 5 exams. Let's say that I've completed all my exams and my lowest score is exam number 3. Well, what I would do, the way you do a drop grade is I'm going to throw away the 35 points from my points earned. So go back to your points earned, throw that away. Okay, take out, subtract 35. Okay, but I also get to throw away this required piece. So in other words, it's not out of 300 points. Goodness, that is wrong because I need to delete this exam 6 here. I apologize. Instead, you would only have 50, 100. I'm going to throw that away, so I'm not going to count that. 150, 200 points required. Do you see what I'm saying there? All you are doing, this is so simple to explain, it actually makes it harder, is you're adding up the points that you earned and dividing by the points that were required. If you have a drop grade, then you don't add in the points earned, and you also do not add in the points required. So what do I do down here on my homework? Well, again, you're adding the points required but that was a bonus point, so no problem there. You're at, oh, what about this one? Remember how this 7 was a 0 because it didn't meet the required minimum score? Well, here's where that hurts you. Although you earned 0 points, 10 points were still required. So you do have to add the 10 points to points required. So when you go through all that, you end up with two numbers. You end up with the sum of all your points possible, and you end up with the sum of all the required points. To tell you the truth, if you look in the syllabus, those are I give you the total of the points required. You take your points possible, you divide by points required. It's going to give you a decimal value. Multiply by 100, and that's going to give you your grade percentage. You know, if your grade is a 79, it's a C. If it's an 82, it's a B. If it's a 95, it's an A, right? All that type of information is in the syllabus, and that's how you calculate it. So it's really not hard. It is something that statistics students can certainly do, and your grades are very transparent to you. They're posted out here in PAWS, you know, so they've been available to you throughout the semester, and I've reminded you of that several times. So, with that being said, once you complete the final exam, and I encourage you to take it, it'll be time to look forward to the fall. And if you're graduating, then congratulations to you if this was your last class. If you are going to be around in the fall, right, then I hope that you know, maybe we will see you around, because it's fall, right? But most importantly, again, I want to remind you, at the risk of being a little bit cheesy here, to celebrate the hard work you've put into the class. Enjoy just a little bit of summer. Remember that fall classes will be starting soon, and I wish you the best of luck and the greatest success in that. Okay? Thanks so much.